What the heck? What just happened? I'm at home, still on the clock, covered in blood, and I just got this call. No, this isn't happening. This isn't real. Jesus Christ. I really wish that I were kidding you right now, but I'm not. Dispatch wants me to go to this lady's house and investigate. Of course, they don't believe me that a toilet ate her son. I'm sure that they believe she's insane, but I know better. The first time I had heard something so absurd was over a month ago during dinner. It was Taco Tuesday. Dad, Billy says that there's a monster in his toilet at home. Clara sounded very concerned. Clara, Billy is only trying to scare you. I assure you there is no monster in the toilet, or in anybody else's toilets for that matter. I chuckled to myself. 4-year-olds are very creative when it comes to storytelling. No, Dad, she said as bits of taco fell from her mouth. I don't think he wanted to scare me. He seemed really scared. I'm sure someone else must have told him a story about a snake in the toilet or something. Or maybe they played a prank on him. But there aren't snakes or monsters in any toilets. Someone's just trying to scare you kids. No one said anything about snakes. What's a prank? I smacked my hand to my head. I really didn't feel like answering. It had been a long day and all I really wanted was for my sweet angel daughter to kindly shut the hell up and go to bed. Instead, I found myself trying to explain to a 4-year-old what a prank was. Remember when you drew that spider on the window to try and scare me? Yeah, she giggled. That was funny. That's a prank. A trick that you play on someone. And while it might be funny to you, it's not always funny to the person that you do it to. But you thought it was funny. I let out a sigh. I had no interest in explaining to my daughter why I thought her 13-legged spider in the window was funny, even though I'm slightly terrified of spiders. It's getting late. Let's clean up dinner and get ready for bed. Grandma will be here in the morning when I go to work. With my daughter finally tucked into bed, I slouched into the recliner and I turned on the television. I closed my eyes, but I could still hear the drone of voices from the television, although I couldn't quite make out what they were saying. I felt as if I were sinking deeper and deeper into the chair, when suddenly I was startled awake. Dad! Dad! Come quick! What now? I thought. I grumbled as I fought my way out of the recliner. Dad, are you coming in here? Hello? The voice was coming from the bathroom. I assumed she needed toilet paper. What? I said sternly. Dad, the toilet. I can feel it. I can feel it on my butt. I was wrong. Yeah, and? I didn't try to hide the annoyance in my voice. Not just the seat, Dad, the air. I can feel it blowing on my butt, just like Billy said. She sounded freaked out. Let me get this straight. You can feel the toilet breathing on your butt. I raised an eyebrow. No, not the toilet, the monster in the toilet. I can feel the monster in there breathing. Look and see. Alright, hop off there and let's take a look together. I didn't want to encourage her behavior, but she seemed genuinely freaked out, so I thought that I would put her mind at ease. We both peeked over the toilet bowl. To Clara's surprise, it was completely empty. Nothing but a shiny white porcelain bowl. See? Does it look like it's breathing on you? No, it looks hungry to me. Hungry? I chuckled, confused. I think the only thing it's hungry for are those tacos that we had for dinner. I'll make sure to feed it before breakfast. I laughed. Ew, gross, Dad. Clara giggled. We washed our hands and I carried her to her bedroom and I tucked her back into bed. I wish that this was the end of the story. A silly girl, a tired dad, and an empty toilet. But that wouldn't be a story worth telling. I don't dare waste the last minutes of my life telling you such a boring story. About 2 weeks after the hungry toilet incident, Clara came home from school crying. "Dad, it's Billy. He's not coming to school anymore. He's gone. He's gone." Clara buried her head into my chest. I knew what she was referring to. Her good friend Billy had passed away. I wasn't sure how yet. There was still an ongoing investigation. The body hadn't been found. Well, not the entire body at least. There was a part of a leg and arm left dangling from the toilet. The ends looked as if someone had stuck them in a wood chipper. There was blood everywhere, on the walls, the floor, the ceiling. The toilet bowl was overflowing. Shards of bone, blood, hair, shreds of skin and cloth. I was certain that there was a madman on the loose. Someone had to be mad to have done something like this to a 4-year-old. And the way they left the body, as if they were playing some kind of practical joke. Disgusting. Of course, I didn't tell Clara what I knew of Billy. She was only 4. I always knew the day would come when my sweet girl would have to learn about death, but I never imagined it would happen so soon, and not like this. I did what I could to console her, telling her that Billy was in a better place. We went and picked up some flowers for the funeral and placed them in a toy dump truck. Clara said that Billy was always fascinated with trucks. The service was lovely and most of the students from the school attended. The PTA set up a fund and raised money for Billy's family to cover cost of the funeral, burial, and to help pay bills while Billy's parents were out of work grieving. A lot of people from the community donated. I was always surprised at how the community came together during hard times like this. For several days after the funeral, Clara wouldn't stop talking about Billy and the toilet. She was convinced that a monster in the toilet had eaten him. He said that he could feel its breath. It felt like warm air coming out of the toilet. Clara, I'm sure the only warm air he felt was just Billy passing gas. No, he said he could feel it breathing. He said when he looked down at the bowl, he could see it moving, like this. Clara demonstrated by moving her stomach in and out. And he said that it licked him. Clara, that's enough. I'm sure he just felt water splash up, like when you have a big poop and it splashes into the toilet bowl. But that's enough. Let's not talk about monsters in the toilet anymore. It's upsetting. Monsters aren't real. I lied. Toilet monsters aren't real, but human monsters were very real. And unfortunately, we still hadn't found the one who had murdered Billy. I just wanted it to stop. All the talk about monsters. I knew that she was grieving, and that grief looked different for everyone. But this had gone on for long enough. She was starting to upset other kids in the school with her talk of toilet monsters. I just wanted it to come to an end, and I wanted to find the madman that did this so that my little girl would be safe. I found no such man, but I did find something mad. With Billy's case still open and no leads, I ended up working nights at the station. I was just lucky enough that I was usually out patrolling an area close to home, right around Clara's bedtime. My mother stayed over at the house with Clara while I worked, and every night I happened to be patrolling close by. I would sneak by the house to tuck my sweet angel into bed. Is she asleep yet? I asked my mother. No. Her voice was hoarse. She's not, and I'm out of cigs. Stop at the store and get your mom a pack, would ya? Mom, you know I refuse to enable you. For Christ's sakes, Jake. It's cigarettes, not heroin. Please, go give me a pack. Mom, I'm serious. I won't buy your cancer sticks. If you want them, you'll have to get them for yourself, but I won't. Before I could finish, my mother snatched up her purse. I'll just go and get them now while you tuck Claire into bed. I'll be back. Come on, Mom, I don't have time. I'm on the clock. Where's Claire anyway? She's in the bathroom. She had to go. Too many tacos. I'll be right back. She yelled, her voice fading as the door slammed behind her. I rolled my eyes. That woman and her damn cigarettes. I went to the utility closet to get an air freshener. I hated the smell of cigarettes. Dad! I dropped the air freshener as Clara shrieked from the bathroom. I had never heard her scream that way. I bolted for the bathroom and I threw open the door. To my horror, Clara and I were both wrong about the monster in the toilet. There was no monster in the toilet. The toilet was the monster. Daddy, help! Clara screamed, trapped as a giant tongue arose from the toilet and wrapped itself around her. I couldn't believe my eyes. How could something that size even come from something that small? And what was it made of? It appeared to be made of porcelain, yet it behaved as if it were a giant tentacle, wrapping tightly around Clara's body. I reached for her arm, but the tongue snatched her up to the ceiling. Damn my wife, she has to be right. Even from beyond the grave, I could hear her voice, bitter and critical, taunting me. I always told you we didn't need a house with tall ceilings. Now look at the situation you're in. I grabbed at the tongue itself, but to my surprise, it was hard, just like porcelain. How the hell was it moving this way? This was unreal. I reached for my nightstick and I slammed it against the tongue, but it did nothing. How is this possible? It moves as if it's living, looks as if it's porcelain, yet it seems to be even harder. I contemplated whether or not to pull out my gun. I could shoot it, sure, but I could hit Clara. I didn't know what to do, so I continued to hit the thing with my nightstick as hard as I could, over and over again as I shouted, "Let her go! Give me back my daughter!" The ground beneath my feet began to vibrate as the porcelain beast let out a roar. Its voice sounded mechanical in nature, like a combination between that of a bear and a machine. It was unlike anything I had ever heard before. What the hell is this? This isn't real, it can't be. Clara screamed as I hit the tongue and the bowl of the toilet. It roared again and I fell into the sink as the toilet bowl grew 10 times its size almost instantly. The force of the growing bowl knocked me back. I tried to pick myself off the floor when I slept. I looked down and realized that I was lying in a puddle of my own blood. I reached for my head and it was throbbing. I must have knocked it on the sink as the toilet bowl knocked me back. I attempted again to pick myself up, but the floor was too slick. All I wanted to do was save my daughter, but I couldn't even pick myself up off the floor. My hands trembled as I reached for my gun. Clara screamed again and the toilet roared. The floor rumbled, shaking loose the ceramic tiles. The bowl looked as if it were breathing, in and out but erratically, as if it were in pain. And that's when I saw it. Rising up out of the bowl, layers upon layers of teeth. There must have been thousands of them. The first row spun faster and faster as another ring of teeth emerged, spinning in the opposite direction. I fumbled around for my gun and I pointed it as low as I could, in hopes that I didn't hit Clara. More and more teeth emerged in rings, spinning faster and faster. I pulled the trigger and the gun let out a bang. The toilet roared again as the bullet ricocheted off the bowl and broke a vase on the opposite side of the room. I couldn't believe my eyes. What the hell was happening? I let out a scream as the tongue of the bowl slipped almost instantly back into the bowl, directly through the rings of teeth below, and Clara falling right behind it. I scrambled around, crawling for the bowl as fast as I could, but it was too late. My face was met with a splatter of blood and guts as the thousands of tiny teeth tore my daughter to pieces. The walkie-talkie in my belt let out a beep as a voice came through. "We've got a 5150 over on Robinson Bridge. This lady thinks a toilet ate her son." I could hear the laughter in her voice. If I had received this call any other night, I probably would have been laughing too. But now I know. The next time you're on the toilet, and you feel a rush of warm air on your bottom, please run. If you think you've only felt the splash from a very solid turd hitting the water, you are wrong. If you thought that it was a loose hair rubbing ever so slightly against your bottom, it isn't. It's the tongue of a porcelain beast, and that beast is hungry. I've tried calling for help, but my coworkers think that I've gone mad. I only wish that they were right. Without my Clara, there is nothing for me to live for anymore. So I'm writing this to you now, as I lie in a puddle of my own blood, waiting for the porcelain beast to take me too.